Welcome to another episode of Coach A's Football. Guys, today we're going to talk about cover 4, its versatility, why I like it so much, and why it's my go-to coverage in high school football. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Okay, coaches, welcome back. Again, today we're going to talk about cover 4 and its versatility and why I like it. You know, the very first thing I like about cover 4 is alignment purposes. I love the way it lines up. No matter what formation they give us, we kind of always look the same. We got the same kind of look. We always got that too high shell, and it stops the offense from dictating to us what we're going to do based on the formation they give us. The second thing I like about cover 4 is also the angles. All right. It puts our players in great position and have great angles in pursuing to the ball. Okay. By having that too high look, by having the certain rules that we have in place, it allows our players to get that 8 and definitely a 9 into the box, or at least a 9 in a good pursuit angle to get to the ball without losing much yardage if something happens to break. Next is also its multi-uses and coverages, right? So when teams give us trips, okay, we can defend trips several different ways without tipping our hand. All right, that's what I really love about it, because teams, offenses like to formation us. Offenses like to try and, use motion to try and see what we're in, if we're in something, if we're out of something. And, other coverages kind of tip your hand if you're in a certain coverage and they do some certain things. All right. And the last thing is that I like the fact that we can use multi-coverages in this based on what the offense gives us. So in essence, the offense can really never be right. It used to always be, the defense is never right, and we just have to play to it, rally to the ball, and just hope to live to see another down. Well, with this, based on what offenses give us, we can actually make changes within this coverage instantly just by making a quick check, and we haven't changed anything. We haven't changed the whole integrity of the defense. All right? So let's take it to the whiteboard, and I'm going to show you a couple of things here based on just some very standard formations, a 3x1 formation, 2x2 formation, and a pro set when you have a tight end, on how to basically line up to this and all that they can do. All right, so now we're here on the whiteboard, okay? We're looking at a 2x2 formation, all right? Very standard formations, what you see now, spread. Everybody's in the spread, run pass options and everything like that, okay? So very first thing I want to make sure that's clear in cover 4, why I really enjoy it, because it helps us define who our force players are in the run game. And in this coverage, if you notice, I have the free safety and I have the strong safety outside leverage of the number 2 receivers. Why I do that? Sometimes you see guys line them up inside. Well, typically I line them up outside unless they're super, super wide. But typically, I line them up outside because I want to make sure that it's understood that these are our force players in our base cover 4 package, all right? These are what we call our wall builders. Their job is to make sure nothing gets outside of them, okay? So if this happens, if this ball happens to run, let's say to the field, this free safety knows that he can create this wall and turn this ball back in to the other 9 defenders that sit inside of him. All right? Why is that important? Because if he creates that wall, those other 9 people have a chance. If they get outside of him, we do have a kind of a fail-safe in our field corner. His job is to make sure that ball gets down at any cost. I hate to say this. If you got to trip him, run next to him, tie his shoes, whatever his thing is, he got to find a way to get that kid down so that way we can live to see another down. Unfortunately, he has a person on him that's a blocker. So he's got to fight a defender. He has to fight a receiver off just to try and make that tackle to slow it down. We always emphasize in this coverage who the force player is, why you are so important, and why is it that you need to turn that ball back inside. Because that ball ever gets outside of this wall, it's basically a free fall. If you look at much football, anytime somebody breaks the perimeter, it's usually big yardage, right? Or it's a touchdown. And usually the person that is making the tackle is usually this backside guy or this backside corner that has to run all the way across the field. All right? That's first and foremost when we talk about this defense. Making sure we understand who is the force player. All right. Second, when we talk about this in the 2x2 coverage, okay, why I enjoy this so much when it comes to we talked about angles, right, and how we get 8 people and that late 9 into the box that can help us out. Let's say we get a perimeter play here, okay. We want to build a wall. That's fine. We know that this safety here is our wall builder. Here's what helps us backside when we talk about angles, right? And I talked about the angle and what it is and why the angles are so important. We want to pursue to this ball, get to this ball. We understand that clear. But this guy is super important because now he's playing everything top side down, right? If we happen to be in a 4-4 defense, nothing wrong with that at all. Everybody's philosophy is different. Everybody's strategy is different. Nothing wrong with it. You know, I've seen people win state championships with those defense. I've seen people win, you know, with all kinds. So I'm not trying to say that, oh, this is the end all be all. I'm just simply telling you why I like this defense and why I really have taken to it. So back to what I was saying. Here, with this strong size, with the backside safety here, what happens is he now can play everything top down because he can see. He's not coming from this level, all right? So when that ball spits, his pursuit angle is now backwards. So if you notice, if he's playing backwards, that means this guy is gaining yardage. Versus if he's playing it this way, again, we have our wall builder. If this ball gets here, he's now playing this ball top down. So he can maneuver, he can see, he can work his way through the traffic, and all that being said, the ball is being played, like I said, top down. His eyes are constantly there. He's not being turned around. So it's very important to me and in this defense, okay? Now, we talked about formations and we talked about multi-coverages without a playing cover 4, all right? We already know cover 4 is great, especially when you're playing for a wide. Why? Because it takes care of 4 verticals. We can play all 4 verticals, right, and not worry about the deep ball being thrown. That's, I think, every defensive coach's biggest nightmare is the 4 verticals. I'm also big on not defending ghost, right? So we always know that the 4 verticals can also be a threat and always be a threat. But if an offensive coordinator doesn't run 4 verticals very often, unless he's in, 4th and forever, 3rd and forever, or, 2-minute thing and he's got to get the ball down the field, that's all situational. But if it's not part of his arsenal, I don't really worry about it too much. But because we play in this coverage, we have it covered, all right? Now, people say, okay, well, what's open in cover 4? Well, we always know that the flats are open here in cover 4, right? Because typically we know the field is cut into quarters. Not a big deal. It's hard for this Sam to work his way all the way out there and get to the flats and get to the curl area, all right? I'm sorry, to the flat area, working through his curl area. So with that being said, how we can defend that is that we come up with different variations throughout this defense, and you guys have heard of this, and I'm going to clean this board off a little bit, but you guys have heard of this. It's called palms. Some people call it two read. We have a total different term for it because, again, if you look at some of my previous videos, I talk about word association and things like that. I don't typically like to what I call regurgitate coach, meaning, if I go to a clinic or a camp or something and I hear, one of these college coaches talking in the terms, I try not to bring back the exact term they use unless it fits my scheme, because he has created that term because it fits his scheme. So I want to make sure whatever I bring back to my players through that kind of development deal, that I can make sure that it fits to my players perfectly. All right. And so we want to make sure our terminology is in sync with the rest of our playbook. So with that being said, again, your old typical, you have, the go and the bubble. Everybody likes to run the bubble route, especially out of, 4 wide, because they know that the flats are open. You put this corner in conflict. Well, he's got to cover the vertical. So now who has the bubble? All right. You have the safety, he's late, and you have the Sam coming in over here and he's late. All right. So you can easily gain 4, 5, 6. If you make a guy miss a tackle, 7, 8, 9 yards, very easily. So we understand that. What I like about this is if we feel that we're going to get this type of look, we can simply make a check, and I'll just use the word palms right now, or read, to simply let our players know if we do get this look, we can change off very quickly. So if we use the read terminology, we know that we're all going to read a 2-to-1 read, what we call 2-to-1 read. All right, meaning we're going to look at the number 2 receiver. If he does anything out immediately, if he does a bubble, a quick out, anything that goes outside immediately, we turn this route basically into cover 2. So if I get this look immediately, I'm going to fire. All right. And my free safety knows 2-to-1 read. We talked about it before. 2-to-1 read. If 2 goes out, it takes the free safety eyes automatically to number 1. And this game turns into cover 2 immediately. All right. So that's how we have now out of our cover 4. And guess what, guys? Backside, we still playing cover 4 if they happen to run, 4 verticals on us or 2 verticals on that side. We still playing cover 4. We just made a variation to the coverage out to the field side. Not a big deal. All right. There's another reason why I like that. Okay. And then our Sam knows he doesn't have to fly out real wide because he knows that he has a flat defender there. So if they happen to run the slant, we know we can still play our slant balls. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can do into that. So that's kind of how we look when we play our 2-by-2 coverage. And again, a receiver detached coverage. All right. And so I also want to say this. You typically can run, offenses typically run, a 3-by-1 set or a 2-by-2 set. And you can get to that several different ways. So it's 3 things we always have to defend from a DB standpoint. 3 receivers, and we're talking about just your typical formations, not any exotics like quads and 4 wide and anything like that. So with that being said, you always want to know how you can defend a 3 receiver set. You want to know how you can defend 2 receivers and how you defend a single receiver side. All right. So we've already taken care of the 2 receiver side. So we can either play a basic quarters out of this, right? Or we can play 2 read out of it. All right. Which in essence turns into cover 2. All right. Now we're going to go to our next formation, which is 3-by-1. In 3-by-1, again, I teach my kids very simple. We're going to eliminate this guy. All right. This is how we play it. And we're going to play the same rules. All right. We're still playing our same rules here. We're going to eliminate number 3 immediately off the cuff because we're going to play that a total different way. And I'll talk about that here in a second. Just like I said in the beginning, there's multiple ways in which you can play, the trip set or multiple formations. Okay. We're going to play this the same way. We can get a 2-to-1 read if we feel that they're going to do something like that. We still have the 2-to-1 read. No big deal. Right? We still can play quarters if we don't get that read. If I get a push here and a push here, well, we stay quarters. Not a big deal. Right? If I go here and run the quick post, I'm over the top of that. And if I get another one here, I'm over the top of that. All right? So we got that played out pretty good. Now, here comes the trick. This guy right here. All right? 3 verticals. All right? You hear all the time some people call this special. I've heard it called special several times. And what special means is that this safety is responsible for the vertical of number 3. All right? So he's responsible for the vertical of number 3. If this player happens to run vertical out of this, he's responsible for that. That's just another variation offensive uses to get to what? 4 verticals. How do we still play it? We're still in great shape here, right? All 4 verticals have been taken care of. Only thing offense did was try and dictate to us, or maybe try and shift us out of our defensive formation to play something total different to tip our hand. But guess what? We still played it. In order for them to get the proper spacing, numbers, hash, numbers. All we're doing is saying that this backside safety's eyes are on the number 3. Okay? Here's important. Well, coach, what if he doesn't run through? What if number 3 doesn't run vertical? That's okay. Let's say, for example, number 3, he runs the bubble. That's fine. What he becomes now is what we call vision and break player, right? His eyes go back to the quarterback. If the quarterback is looking this way, he is now working this way, looking for any post balls. He's the undercutter, all right? Again, we talked about This being said, if he gets that, we're going to play over the top of it. Let's just say we get a double post. Fine, we play over the top of it. Sam can now work outside. Well, coach, we talked about being in the flats, working our way to the flats. Yes, but here's the difference between the flats. Look at the alignment of this Sam versus the 2x2 set. He's out leveraged by this guy. When we're in a 3x set, he's actually out leveraging the number 3, so he has time on his side to work with the bubble. That's why we're not worried about the number 3 running the out route immediately, because the Sam has time on his side because of his leverage to work with that. If he ran a quick out, fine, work your way on outside. Not a big deal. Well, coach, what if he runs the slant? Let me clean this up a little bit. Let's say we get the out. We get a slant here by this guy, and let's say we run the vertical here. Fine. The corner's going to take care of the vertical, right? We're going to work our way through it. He can get the slant. He can play over the top. But here's the key guy. He's vision and break. He's also vision and break. All right? So we got an undercut, we got an at the cut, and we got over the top in case it pops. All right? So that's very, very big. Well, coach, what about backside? Huge. Look at this backside. What we call on this side of the field, all right, we can simply play man to this side of the field. All right? We know that the corner has that number 1 receiver, and we know that the wheel has the back out the backfield. He runs the vertical, fine. He runs the peel route, fine. We have that all covered. Not a big deal, all right? But we talked about versatility in trips or different formations. Well, coach, now that they know you in man, they can do different things on the backside. Yeah, that's true, right? They may want to run the hitch. They can run rub routes, whatever the case may be. But here's a different way you can play it as well. All right, a lot of people play the 3 vertical. This is very important. This is what you have to defend. The 3 vertical, all right? That's what can hurt you. Here's another way in which we play it, all right? Our Mike backer can also take care of the 3 vertical. Well, coach, that's a little mismatch because you got a middle linebacker playing a 3 vertical against a wide receiver. Yeah, that is true, but he knows that he's a pass-first defender. We may not do this in a passing. We may do this in a passing situation, but he knows that, hey, I got to get out of town. So we have a technique, right, is what we call flip hip. So we're going to flip our hip at the snap of the ball, eyes on 3. We're going to use our neck, flip our hips, eyes on 3. And guess what? If he takes off and pushes us, we're going to run with him, okay? At some point in this game, you got to be a football player as well, all right? So same rules apply. We still can do 2-to-1 read here if we like, if we feel that's something we can help us on defense. If we're playing 3rd and long, I'm not big. I don't care if he runs the bubble or something shallow. Why? Because we can rally to it, tackle it, put him in a 4th and long situation. But let's just say it happens to be 3rd and 5. Okay, we worry about hitches or whatever, we can do that. All right. So if we want to play the 2 read, we can. If we want to play quarters, we can. Not a big deal. Same rules apply. Okay. But now his eyeballs are on 3 vertical. If he runs 3 vertical, he does what? Hip flip and run with him. Okay. He's trying to stay on top of him as long as he can. All right. Sam Backer has the same deal. Vision and break. He saw he do that. He saw he runs vertical. He has no threat immediately. If quarterback is looking this way, he can simply sit for any slant balls. Quarterback is looking off to this side. He can work his way and weave his way because there's only 1 receiver there. So that actually puts him a little closer to the ball to help get onto the tackle. Let me clean this up so we can talk a little further. Again, 3 vert. I'm just going to put 3V for 3 vert. Okay. He runs the vertical. Mike backer, we know we have 3 vertical. Are we simply playing over here? We're playing quarters over here. Not a big deal. Well, to the backside. Remember, we played man before when our safety had it. Well, now my safety's free. So what can we do if we worried about this guy? If he's the best guy on the team, he likes to run the hitch, it's 3rd and 5. All right. Let's say if he wants to, double move the guy, and we worried about it because we were playing man, and they want to hitch and going. Okay, they want to hitch and going, right? Why we're not worried about it? Because what we're going to simply do is play cover 2 to this side. So what we have, sorry guys. So what we have on this side is cover 2, safety over the top. So if you want to run the hitch, we got the corner sitting there waiting on the hitch. If you want to run the go, we got the safety running with the go. And if you want to run the hitch and go, we got it all covered. Okay? If you want to run the slant, clean it up on this side. If you want to run the hitch, we got it taken care of with the corner. If he wants to run the go, we have it taken care of with the safety. Okay? He runs the go, and he now runs the peel. The wheel is simply now our vision and break player. Why? He's not in man. It's cover 2 to this side of the field. We are playing cover 2 to that side of the field. All right? We have a flat defender. He runs to run the vertical. He only has one defender that can take him deep. So if he outside releases, I'm okay with that. Why? Because he knows his eyes should be on the number 1. He's a pass first defender. His eyes are strictly on the number 1 receiver. If he's taking the top off, you taking the top off and meeting him at that point. He post ball, he runs right into you. And again, you can run different drills and all of that to learn how to defend that. Okay? So again, those are just 2 simple and easy ways in which we can play a trips formation to that side. You understand what I'm saying? We can easily play a trips formation to that side, and it still gives us the angles we talk about, getting to the ball, running the ball. Force players are still in play, right? So now if we run in this, and our force players, who are our wall builders now? Okay, if we happen to check to this coverage, we have a wall builder here. And who would be our wall builder to the short side? If we got the 2, our wall builder would be our corner to the short side. Why? Pass first defender. So if that ball happens to get out here, his job is to turn it back, and he now switches roles with the corner. All right? So that helps put pressure when they want to try and kind of get the ball to the weak side. They want to run it here to the field side. His rules haven't changed. Nothing has changed for him. He still builds the wall. We rally to the ball. Nothing happens because we don't do halfback pass. All right? And we talked about angle. So this is where we kind of lose an angle with a guy, right? So because he's down, he now has to take his angle this way. Why is he not taking that angle? Because he's a pass first defender. Let's say they pull this up, and then they come back with reverse pass. Who's responsible for it? Pass first defenders. All right? I'm not going to go into too many details about plays and the nuances and all of that stuff. I'm not going to do that too much. Okay? Let's now take it over to a pro set. Okay? Still can run cover 4 against a pro set. Why is it important? Again, wall builders. Right? Who are my force players? Free safeties, force player, right? My short safety or strong safety, force player. A lot of coaches has always said to me, well, coach, they so far back, how are they going to be able to set the wall? Well, here's the difference. Believe it or not, 10 yards is not as far as you think it is. You can cover 10 yards in 3 or 4 steps. And the best part about it, they are not in the blocking scheme. Once you get in here, once you put a defender here, they have become part of the blocking scheme. So now these guys in this box have now accounted for these guys on the line of scrimmage. So if they're running an off-tackle play, they're going to account for that guy. They're not counting for guys 10, 12 yards off the ball. All right? Again, he has no threat. His only threat, immediate threat, is out here. Okay? If he runs deep, technically speaking, that's on him. His job is underneath it. So what does he have on his side? Time and distance. Here, you got a threat here and a threat here for the free safety. Okay? Here's the deal. If he's here and he's blocking, well, guess what? He blocks down. I want to build my wall. Get that ball turned back inside to how many people inside? To my 9 homies inside, to the 9 people I have inside to help me. If he outside releases, you got time and distance on your side. So guess what? If they want to play action pass you and he's coming down the line, time and distance is on your side. Here's the difference. If I put a guy right in his face, you're going to tell me you play action a ball right here to me. You're going to tell me this kid's eyes are not going to go into the backfield? Definitely they're going to go into the backfield. You see it happen in college. You see it happen in the pros. These guys are professional athletes and they get tricked by it. So how do we help that defender? By putting time and distance on his side. Okay? That's how we help him. Here, if he runs a slant immediately, right? No big deal. He comes straight up and shows pass. He's sitting right in the box. Knock his head off. No big deal. He's over the top. Come vision and break. Okay? Same thing to the strong safety side. All right? Some people want to ask me why I put this, and I know this, we're not talking about coverage, but I'm going to tell you why I put my big end inside of my tight end. Because guess what it's going to force? If they're going to block, they're going to force the tight end to make a play where he can't climb easily. All right? Tight ends don't get as much work with the blocking as offensive tackles, okay? But it's forcing that tight end to stick his nose on there. If he clearly just comes straight up, well, guess what, guys? We making our move because this ball is supposed to try and what? Get outside. Also, it makes the water a little muddy about who's the end man on the line of scrimmage. Well, are we going to kick this guy out? Who are we trapping? Are we going to trap this big end here with this backside guy? Is he the last man on the line of scrimmage? Is it the guy outside? Who is it? It muddies the water a little bit for offenses, and it doesn't make it clear because what they don't realize is we got our wall builder sitting right here ready to turn the ball back inside. And what does he have? The huge asset he has? Time and distance to decipher what the play is. Okay? So looking at these, very simple. You know, you can make very simple changes to it. You can make very simple mixes and matches and alignments and all those different things. I didn't really get into all of that, but I just want to simply say why I like cover 4, why it's so versatile, you know, how it helps us in the run game as well as how it helps us in the pass game, right? You get a vision and break player, right? In high school especially, quarterbacks like to look to one side. They're going to look to that one side, and that's the side they're going to stay on. So, yeah, they're going to see maybe that safety playing high. So if you get a post ball and that safety's playing high, that quarterback is taught to put that ball on the line and drill it underneath. But what they don't see is the vision and break safety coming underneath to steal that ball. That's why it's so huge, all right? Because you have everybody working together. You have the alignment, you have the angles, and it also helps us work in multi formations. We can get multi coverages out of it, and I just think it's a very versatile formation when it comes to any formation the offense gives you. All right. Sometimes in cover 3, yeah, I know you can get the 2 shell and you roll down to it. I don't typically like that now. I used to do that, ran that for many years. I don't like it because you got a player trying to roll backwards to roll down to run backwards. I just think it's a waste amount of steps and it's wasted energy for you to roll down into a hole to turn around and try and roll back out of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. As I got older, I had to learn that a little bit, right? When we talk about cover 4, you're already in position. Everything is in front of you. Play everything in front of you. The only routes can hurt you are the last 3 routes in the route tree, the 7, 8, and the 9, the corner, the post, and the go ball. But everything else is underneath you. Everything else is top side down. You play everything in front of you. So it helps you rally to the ball. It helps you with your angle when you're trying to make tackles. It helps a lot of those different things. Guys, I want to say again, I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You can also, if you see my logo pop up here in black and white, please click that. That way you can subscribe to the channel so you can get all of our latest videos when they come out. And make sure you click that notification bell as well. So that way you'll make sure you'll probably see it pop across the screen here in a second. That way when I put a video out, you'll be notified immediately. If you got a little bit of time, you can watch it. If you're at work and you're taking your break, you can watch it. If you're sitting waiting on the bus or whatever the case may be, you had a doctor's appointment, you can sit and watch it. So guys, again, I really enjoy this. I enjoy giving a chance to kind of pass on what I learned, and I just want to say thank you guys a lot. And you can, like I said, like us. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and everything else. We got a page on there. So with that being said, see you at the 50-yard line.